In this video, I'm going to show you how you can turn a YouTube video like this one into a fully fledged SEO optimized blog, and it will even go and generate an AI image. And this Google Sheet over here is kind of acting like our dashboard to this automation, kind of like an interface to the back end, which is the automation over here. So this is what this Google Sheet looks like. And as you can see, it has three main sections: the URL section, the style section, and the actual blog section. So what the URL over here is for is actually for the YouTube video we want to convert into a blog. And then we of course want the actual style of the blog. So do we want it to be a sort of tutorials style blog, or do we want it to be more informational? You know, there's hundreds of different types of styles, so you can go and input whatever style you want over here. And the last bit over here is actually generated by the automation. I've run it 3 times, as you can see. So the blog is put into a Google document, and this is represented over here once the automation's ran, so you can see which YouTube video is linked to which blog. So normally to all our automations, we try and build out some sort of front end. Normally it's on Google Sheets because it's free, it's super accessible and super easy and quick to build on Google Sheets. But of course, if you want to build out something more robust, you can use a bunch of other tools. One of them I've been testing is lovable.dev, and it's excellent for building out front ends. And then you can link that up directly to the backend make.com automation. You can even use Airtable, which is also really common when you're linking up to make.com automations. So yeah, you got hundreds of options. I just use Google Sheets because it's super simple, super quick, and it's free. So it's most accessible to everyone watching this. Awesome. So now that we've built out this, then let's go back to the automation over here. And the next step over here is we're actually making an API call. So what this API call is supposed to do is grab the YouTube video link and turn that into an MP3. The reason is we don't want all the video and the clunkiness of an MP4, which is normally much larger in size. We want to run this automation as lean as possible. So that's why we use this API to turn that MP4 YouTube video into an MP3, which is audio only. So the actual API we're using is by this company called RapidAPI. They're so amazing. You can pretty much find any API you want. It's a massive marketplace for APIs, and they're brilliant for anyone that wants to automate something, and you don't want to build out an API or an entire automation on the back end of the current automation you're building. So they have like a bunch of ready-made APIs. This one is the one I'm using for this YouTube to MP3 function that we're trying to get to work to make sure we can make the blog. The thing about RapidAPI is it's also super affordable. So they have a basic plan, which is kind of like a free trial. So this will allow you to do like 25 videos into MP3. And then they have obviously scalable plans. So over here you can do 2,000 MP3 YouTube videos to MP3s a month, and then it's about like 1/10 of a cent for every single other one you do, and then you can obviously scale up based on how much you use. But yeah, if you are building make.com automations on a regular basis, then I highly recommend you check out RapidAPI. It has a bunch of APIs, and it will make your life when you're building automation so much easier. I'm also going to show you how you can integrate this API into make.com right now, so you don't have to worry about that. So when you're going to set up this YouTube to MP3 API, you need to come down here to this download section, and you will see there are 3 different types of functions we can call for this API. You want to go to the download function over here. And as you can see, here's the code snippets, and we have all of this information over here. So the thing that's blurred is actually my API key. This is to make sure it charges my account and not someone else's account. That's why it's blurred, because I don't know who's watching this video, and someone might put my API key in and then I have a massive bill, which is not super ideal. So that's why I've blurred this API key out over here. But essentially, this is all the information you're going to need to input into make.com to get this API to work. And also, it'll be really interesting to see some example responses. So once you go and call this API, you're going to get a download URL. And this is exactly what you need to actually get the MP3 file, which I'm also going to show you how you can integrate into make.com. Now that you're familiar with the layout of RapidAPI, what you're going to want to do is come to this parameters section over here. And in the URL, which is going to be our main variable, because the only thing that's going to change is the URL of the video we want to download, you can just put in test over here, right? And you can see over here, this is test right over here. And if I change it to like test 2000, for example, you can see test 2000 changes. So this is where we need to put our YouTube URL that we want to actually go and download the MP3 file. So if I flip back to automation over here, you'll see I've just copied and pasted exactly what's over here: HTTP, YouTube to MP3, RapidAPI, all of this. And you can see here, there is, where is it? Let's put the URL as test. You can see URL equals test. And over here, URL equals the actual variable from our Google Sheet of where we're actually pasting in the YouTube URL that we want to turn into our blog. So where this was test before is now just our URL, and you just copy and paste this, all of this into the section over here, into the URL section of our HTTP make a request module. We want the method to be post. This is because over here, you can see the method is post. So that's how you set that up over there. And then we want to add some headers. This is because if I switch back to our over here, we have headers, right? So you can see this is the header title. And then this is the, this would be a header title, for example. And then this would be the actual header content we have. So we need to go add the header title and then the header content. There's also another one for the RapidAPI key, which is what's blurred over here. So you just need to paste that in. And secondly, also paste in your key over here. And then this should all be set up. One extra thing you need to do is also pass the response to yes. This is because it's just going to give you all of this information in one big block of text. So essentially, when I show you an example response, it's going to give you all of this as like one big block of text, which is not super useful. We want to separate out the download URL from all the rest of this information. So that's why we want this link over here. So that's why we want to go and pass the response, as this will go and separate out all the information when we make the API call. Sweet. Now that we've actually gone and made this API call, it's going to take the API like 30 seconds to actually go and download the file, because that takes time, and then turn that into an MP3, as that also takes time. So I've put a delay of 60 seconds just to be on the safe side before the next action, which is our get a file module. This is so the API has enough time to run and actually go and sort all the MP3 file stuff out. So now that you've gone and add your delay, we also have another HTTP get a file module. What this HTTP get a file module is supposed to do is go and download the MP3 file. And all you need to go and pass in is the download URL variable over here. This is .mp3, so you can see it's actually an MP3 file, and you just want to go and get that file. Now that our automation has gone and downloaded our MP3 file, we want to go and create a transcription using OpenAI. And this transcription module, what we want to do is get a file, and then the model should be Whisper1. And then we just want to transcribe this YouTube video exactly word for word, essentially. So I'm just going to adjust this to word for word. So as you can see, we want to transcribe this word for word, and we want the response format to be in text. So that's how you set up this module. So what this will go and do is get that MP3 file, and any words, like right now what I'm saying, this will all be turned into text, so we can turn it into a blog and get all the context of the actual YouTube video. Awesome. So now that we've got that big transcription of the actual YouTube video, we want to go and turn that into a blog, and that's where ChatGPT is really, really good. We'll just go and prompt ChatGPT to go and turn this into a blog article. And I've got a really simple prompt for this kind of scenario. You can obviously adjust this prompt to exactly match your needs. You can add a format in, you can add a bunch of other information you want. I've got it super simple. It's just convert the following video transcription into a clear and easy to follow style, the style from our Google Sheet, blog in HTML. Only return the HTML and nothing else. Do not include any of these tags in your response. And then we have the transcript, which is in text from our create a transcript module. Awesome. So now ChatGPT is going to generate us a blog. We also want to go and generate some metadata for this to improve our SEO. So this is how I've prompted this module. Given the following blog post, generate a JSON structure that includes 3 fields. A title, so a clear, engaging blog title. We want a few tags, so we can include this in the actual blog, and an excerpt. Ensure the tags field contains at least 3 keywords and no more than 6 keywords. The excerpt should be no more than 40 words. And then we've also given an example of what the JSON should look like, just so it really does output in that JSON format, so we can use this later on when we're actually putting the blog into our Google Docs and that sort of file. And lastly, we of course put the blog post that we generated using ChatGPT from the transcription in the last module, and we go and put this into this prompt over here. Lastly, we know ChatGPT typically rambles a little bit, so we just want to go and summarize the blog post. So then we go and add a summarize this blog article, and then we just add the actual blog article into there, just so it's super neat and super tidy, and it's not crazy long where it sounds like ChatGPT's almost written it. Lastly, we generate an image prompt. So I always recommend this to anyone that's generating an AI image. Before you actually go and do that, you should probably go and generate the prompt for how the image is going to be generated. And the best way to do this is get AI to go and actually generate this image prompt for you. How I've set up this module over here, you are tasked with generating a comprehensive prompt for an AI image generative based on a blog article. Your goal is to create a detailed and effective prompt. Follow these instructions really carefully. We want the image description. We want some style keywords, a camera type. So we want to make sure it knows exactly what type of camera we're going to be taking this photo with. We want the camera lens. So we're trying to give it as much detail as possible so it can generate the absolute best image for us. Some post-processing techniques as well. And here is the blog article, and we give it the entire blog article so it can see what the blog's actually about and then decide exactly what image would go really well with it. And then also examples of good prompts, just so it knows exactly what works really well so that it can go and base our prompt based on these really, really good examples. So that's basically how this prompt is gone and generated. And of course, the next natural step will be to actually go and generate the image using AI. We're using DALL-E 3 over here, OpenAI's DALL-E 3. And of course, the actual prompt section is the prompt we generated in the last module. We've got a standard size, standard quality. We want the style to be vivid and the response format to be in a URL. So now that the image has been generated, the next step is actually to get a Google Doc and put all of this information into there. So we use this Google Docs create a document module over here. And how this works is the actual name of the document is the result, which is what we generated in that metadata module over here. And then we have the excerpt, which is of course also generated in the metadata module over here. And lastly, we have the results from the actual blog post that we wrote added into the content section over here. And then you just add it into whatever document you want on your Google Drive. I've just got this YouTube video to blog post, which is the actual automation in that folder over here. And then you just leave insert a header and insert a footer as no. Great, we've got all the text here, but where does the actual image go? And that's why we have this Google Docs insert an image to a document module. And over here, we just add the data URL, image URL over here, and we just append it to the end of the document. And the document ID is actually from this module over here, which is the create a document page. When you run this module, it comes out with a document ID, and you can just use that variable just to make sure that the image is added into the exact same document to the blog that it's relating to. Awesome, so now that we've generated all of that stuff, we go and add in this Google Docs URL into our Google Sheet. So you can see this is how the Google Sheet is set up, and then row number, which is the row number we grabbed from the Watch New Rows module over here. And we just want to go and add the blog section, which is the web view link of the actual Google Doc we went and created. And just make sure the row number is the exact same row number as, you know, where we got the YouTube video pulled from when we started off this entire automation. And there you have it. That's exactly how you can go and generate a blog exactly like this one with a automation like this. This is super useful if you're looking to kind of repurpose content into something else. If you already spend a lot of time creating YouTube videos, you can turn those into blogs super easily using AI. Don't forget, you can customize this automation to, you know, suit your needs and however you like to automate. So if you enjoyed this video, it'd be excellent if you could interact with it. It helps out a ton. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.